I stood outside that restaurant, watching people line up around the building, laughing, excited to taste the food that I helped bring to life. $250,000 of my savings, gone into this dream, my daughter's dream. I should have felt proud, but instead, when I walked inside, she looked at me like a stranger. "You have no part in this anymore." That moment changed everything. My name is George Mitchell, 60 years old. Before I take you into the hardest chapter of my life, please subscribe and tell me in the comments where you are listening from. Let me start at the beginning, where her dream first began. Emma was always the adventurous one, the kind of girl who tried every new thing that crossed her path. But she had a heart, a real good heart. When she was young, she used to bake cookies for the neighbors. She said she wanted to feed the world one day. I thought it was just the innocence of a child, but she held on to that dream longer than I expected. She tried college. She really did. But life has a way of pushing people down when they are already struggling to stand. She lost her job. The tuition piled up, and one evening she came home with tears running down her face. She collapsed into my arms like she used to when she was little. "I do not want to give up, Dad," she whispered. "But I do not know what to do." I could feel her shaking, that helpless kind of fear no parent wants to see. I told her, "We will figure it out, together." She lifted her head, eyes swollen but glowing with something I had not seen in a long time. "Hope," then she said it. The dream she had been holding on to in her heart since she was a child. What if I opened a restaurant, even a small one, where I can cook the food I learned from you? And Mom, what if this is what I'm meant to do? My instinct told me to protect her from disappointment, but my heart, it saw the spark in her. The same spark her mother once had when she opened her bakery long ago, and I could not crush that dream. Not again. "Tell me what you need," I said, even though I already knew the answer. She pulled out a list. Equipment, rent, renovation, licenses. And there it was. The number. $250,000. A mountain of a number. My chest tightened. My retirement fund. Everything I had built for the last 30 years. When my ex-wife Linda found out, she came storming into my house. Her voice still rings in my ears. "You are letting her manipulate you again. She is young. She does not understand the value of money. You are risking everything for a dream that might not last 6 months. Maybe she was right. Maybe I was foolish." But I thought about Emma's tears, her trembling voice, her desperation to stand on her own. "I have to give her this chance," I told Linda. "I am her father." Linda shook her head and left without another word. I stood alone in the kitchen, staring at the empty chair where Emma used to sit, swinging her legs, talking about her future. I could not give up on her. Not this time. I went to the bank the next day. Signing those papers, it felt like signing away my safety, my future. I could hear my heart pounding when they handed me the check. But I told myself, it was for her. It was all for her. A week later, we stood together inside a dusty old storefront. The lights were dim, the walls were chipped. But Emma spun around in the room like she was in the center of a palace. "This is it, Dad," she said, eyes bright. "This is where everything starts." Her excitement was contagious, and I let myself believe. Before the renovation started, I suggested something simple. A contract. Nothing fancy, just a paper saying that we were partners, that I would own at least half, that if things went well, we would share the benefits fairly. Emma froze. "Why would you need that?" "We are family," she said softly, but there was an edge behind her voice. "Do you not trust me?" That question hit me right in the chest. Trust was everything between us, and in that moment, I felt like I had already failed as her father by even asking. I shook my head quickly. "No, I trust you completely. Forget I said anything." She smiled, relieved. She hugged me tight. "You will not regret this," she whispered. I held her, but deep inside, a quiet worry settled into my heart. Maybe I should have pushed for that contract. Maybe I should have listened to Linda, but I told myself, this is what parents do. We take the risks so our children can chase their dreams. We tore down the old walls. We painted the new ones. We scrubbed the floors until they shined. I was there every step of the way, lifting heavy furniture, fixing lights, assembling tables. I did not care about the long hours. I was building something with my daughter, our daughter, the one I thought I knew inside out. As the grand opening approached, I started to believe we were creating a future together, a future we would both be proud of. I looked at Emma, laughing, planning, dreaming, and I thought, maybe this will finally bring us closer again. But back then, I could not see how quickly everything would change, how fast success could turn love into entitlement, and how the same dream that brought us together would be the dream that pushed me out. Because the moment the door opened to the public, and people filled the room with praise and excitement, I started to disappear from my own creation, and I had no idea what was coming next. From the first day we opened the doors, everything felt like a miracle. The smell of fresh bread, the warmth of the lights, Emma standing proudly behind the counter, welcoming every customer as if she already knew them. I wiped down tables, carried dishes, asked people how their meals were. Some said it was the best thing they had tasted in years. Hearing that made Emma glow, and that made me feel like the risk, the sacrifice, all of it was worth it. Every single night we were there long after closing, fixing chairs, testing new dishes, talking about the future. I was exhausted, but it was a good kind of tired, the kind that comes from building something real. One night as we scrubbed the kitchen floor, Emma leaned against the counter, breathing hard. "Thank you, Dad, for believing in me," she said. I smiled. I always have. I believed that moment would stay forever, a memory we would talk about years later. I did not know that soon our words would stop sounding like kindness and start sounding like distance. The first big change came from a phone. A customer filmed one of her dishes, a pasta she created from an old family recipe, and posted it online. It exploded. Thousands of people watched it in a single night. By the next week, there was a line out the door, cars circling the lot, people waiting hours just to taste her food, and suddenly, we were not a quiet little restaurant anymore. We were a business. Emma started wearing nicer clothes to work. She spoke with a stronger, sharper confidence. I was proud, truly, but I also felt something shifting. I tried to ignore it. I kept telling myself she was just growing into her role. Then Logan showed up. He seemed like the kind of man who always had something to prove. Nice watch, loud voice, expensive jacket. The type who looked around a room only to judge who was beneath him. He introduced himself as her boyfriend. Emma looked at him like he hung the moon. I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. I told myself she deserved someone who supported her dream. But the first thing he ever said to me was, "It is good that you helped her start, but now she needs professionals. You should rest and enjoy life. Leave this to younger people." He said it with a smile, the kind that did not reach his eyes. I felt heat rise in my chest. "This restaurant exists because she and I built it together," I replied. "I am not going anywhere," he shrugged. "Time will tell." I wanted to tell Emma what I felt, but every time I tried, she brushed it aside. "He is just protective, Dad. He cares about me." Protective. That word tasted bitter in my mouth. As business grew, I noticed more changes. Emma stopped asking for my opinions. She started meeting with suppliers without me. She redesigned the menu, without even mentioning it. One afternoon, I reached to adjust a sign in the window, the same one I painted by hand during renovation. Logan stepped in front of me. "Do not touch that. We have a plan, and it does not include old ideas." Old ideas. I swallowed the words burning on my tongue. I turned away, but inside me, something cracked. That night, as we counted the register, I asked Emma softly, "Do you still want me to be part of all this?" She blinked, confused. "What do you mean I just want to know I still matter here?" Her phone lit up. A text from Logan. She looked back at me and smiled, but not the same warm smile she used to have. "Of course you matter, Dad, but you have to trust me. Things are changing, and that is a good thing." I nodded, tried to believe her, but doubt had already planted its roots. It was growing, slowly, quietly. The next day, the restaurant was busier than ever. Customers asking for photos with Emma. Reporters calling. Influencers tagging us in posts. Success felt loud, exciting, overwhelming. And in all that noise, I started to feel invisible. I watched Emma laugh with Logan. I watched her take credit for decisions we once made together. I watched her walk past me, without noticing the look in my eyes. I tried to tell myself, this is what I wanted. Her success, her happiness, her independence. But every time she brushed past me like a coworker, or like someone who just happened to be standing there, my heart sank a little more. One night I stayed late to finish cleaning. Emma came in holding her purse ready to leave with Logan. "Do not tire yourself, Dad," she said. "We can hire staff soon." I forced a smile. That sounds good, but when she walked out, I just stared at the empty restaurant. The place we built together, the dream we shared, and I realized I was slowly being pushed out of the picture. The success we celebrated together was beginning to separate us. What I did not know was that the real heartbreak, the real betrayal, had not even started yet. Success kept growing, but my place in that success kept shrinking. Each morning I still arrived early. I swept the floors. I checked inventory. I made sure the coffee was hot before the doors opened. But Emma and Logan, they stopped showing up before lunch. They would walk in dressed like they were attending a fancy event, while I stood behind the counter smelling like bleach and dish soap. One day, Logan walked up to me with a clipboard in hand. "We need to make some changes," he said. "The restaurant is too hands-on. We need professionals running things. Emma and I think it is best if you step back from daily operations. Step back. From my own investment. From my daughter's dream." I tried to stay calm. "I am not going anywhere," I told him quietly. "This is my place too." Logan smiled like he pitied me. "You funded it," he said. "We built it. We, him, and Emma. Not me." I wanted to yell. I wanted to tell him exactly what I thought of his smug attitude. But I looked at Emma, standing behind him, silent. My heart sank. "Is that how you feel too?" I asked her. She avoided my eyes. "Dad, customers love me. They know me. The business needs my image, not messy, behind-the-scenes stuff. Messy." That was what she thought I was. She walked away before I could answer. Logan gave me a final pat on the shoulder like he had just taken something from me and expected me to thank him. After that conversation, everything changed fast. The new manager arrived the next week, a woman named Kelly. She acted like she owned the place. She questioned every task I did. She checked behind me as if I had never lifted a mop in my life. One evening I tried to greet customers like I always did. Kelly pulled me aside. "You cannot stand near the doorway anymore," she said. "It looks unprofessional." Unprofessional. Me, the man who funded every brick. When I told Emma about it, she sighed impatiently. "Dad, this is not personal," she said. "We just need to elevate the brand. It is better if you take on a background role." Her words hit me like cold water. A background role. I was being erased one task at a time. I tried to reason with her one last time. "We should talk about profits soon," I said. "Now that we are earning good money, we should figure out my share of it." The investment agreement. Emma's face turned stiff. Logan stepped in front of her. "What agreement?" he asked. I swallowed. "The one we talked about before opening. My investment. My retirement savings. This is supposed to be partly mine." Logan crossed his arms. "There is no written contract," he said. "No paperwork. No signature. There is nothing legally binding here." He looked at me like he had just cornered a wild animal. I stepped closer. "Are you saying you are going to cut me out after everything I gave?" Emma lifted her chin. Cold. Hard. "The money is my hard work," she said. "My name. My recipes. My customers. You should be grateful I even let you help." Grateful. She wanted me to be grateful for being used. My hands shook. My chest tightened. I tried to breathe, but the anger hit too fast. "I gave you everything," I whispered. "Everything." Emma looked away. "I am sorry you feel that way," she said. but you should know when to step back. My throat burned. It felt like she had just reached inside and pulled out the heart I had spent years protecting. I wanted to scream. I wanted to grab her shoulders and make her look me in the eyes. But she had already turned away. He said it like a victory. I spent that night sitting in my truck behind the restaurant, watching the neon sign flicker against the dark sky, the sign that I paid for, the place that would not exist without me, my investment, my sweat, my time, my bond with my daughter. All of it felt stolen. I remembered the nights we laughed while painting the walls, the nights she cried because a recipe did not work, the nights I told her the future would be bright. I had believed her dream was ours, but now it was hers alone. And Logan's. My phone buzzed. A message from Emma. I love you. Please understand. This is what I need to do. I stared at those words until the screen dimmed. It felt like a goodbye disguised as love. The following week I returned to the restaurant to pick up some tools I had left during renovations. Kelly stood at the entrance blocking the door. You cannot come in anymore, she said. Emma asked me to enforce it. I tried to step around her. She raised her voice. If you do not leave, I will call security. Security. For me. At my daughter's restaurant. I looked through the glass door. People were eating, laughing, enjoying the success I helped make possible, and I stood outside, like a stranger. My chest ached. My breathing turned sharp. I gripped the door frame to steady myself. I thought about everything I sacrificed. The money, the hard work, the belief, the love, and she pushed me out like I meant nothing. I walked away slowly. My eyes burned, but I did not blink. I did not wipe the tears that slid down my cheeks. The world was blurry, but one thing was painfully clear. My daughter had erased me from her life, from her success, from her dream, but even then, I did not know the darkest part yet. I had no idea what Logan was planning next. I tried to accept being pushed out. I tried to believe Emma would come to her senses, that she would remember who stood by her when she had nothing. But days passed, then weeks, and every hope I held on to slowly faded. I still drove by the restaurant sometimes. I would park across the street and watch from a distance. I told myself I was only checking on the business, but the truth was, I missed my daughter. I missed the way she used to run into my arms after school. I missed the way she smiled when she talked about cooking. I missed feeling like I mattered to her life. One evening I saw something that made my stomach twist. A moving truck pulled up. Workers loaded boxes of branded merchandise, cases of ingredients, paperwork. Logan stepped out dressed in a sharp suit, shaking hands with the driver like he was closing a business deal. Expansion. Without me. I walked closer without thinking. Logan noticed and smirked. New location, he said casually. Bigger. Better. Investors love Emma's brand. I stared at him. Where is the money coming from? He rolled his eyes. Customers. Revenue. Business. You would not understand. I clenched my fists. That money comes from the investment I made. That money was meant to secure my future. Logan stepped forward, his voice low and cold. It is Emma's restaurant, he said. Legally. You gave her a gift. Do not make this messy. Gift. That was his story. He patted my shoulder again. This time it felt like a threat. Walk away, George, before you embarrass yourself. He left me standing there with a burning chest and a sinking heart. I needed answers. Real answers. I called a friend of mine who worked at a bank, someone I trusted. I asked if he could look into any business loans or accounts tied to the restaurant. He hesitated, it was risky, but after hearing what had happened, he agreed to help. The next day he called me back. His voice was tense. George, are you sure you want the truth? I need it, I said. He sighed. Logan opened a private account, connected to the restaurant's financial operations. There have been large withdrawals, transfers directly into his name. My grip tightened around the phone. How large? Enough to raise red flags, he said quietly. Hundreds of thousands, and growing. I felt dizzy. The air around me thinned. Logan was stealing, not just from the business, from my daughter, from my life savings. Are you sure Emma does not know? He asked. I swallowed hard. She is in love, I whispered. She would not see the truth if it stood right in front of her. My friend paused. You need to protect yourself before there is nothing left. That night, I sat alone at my kitchen table. A pile of receipts, emails, and printed screenshots lay in front of me. Proof. Evidence. Pieces of a puzzle revealing who Logan really was. I stared at a photo of Emma taped to the refrigerator, her high school graduation picture. She was laughing, wearing her chef's hat, eyes full of light. That version of her trusted me completely. Where had that girl gone? I wanted to call her. I wanted to warn her. But every time we spoke, Logan was there, twisting everything, turning her against me. She did not want to hear my voice anymore. Still, I could not let her fall into a trap she did not see. So the next morning, I went to her apartment. Emma opened the door just a crack. Her eyes were tired, cautious. Dad, why are you here? I took a slow breath. I found something, I said. Something you need to see. Logan appeared behind her, shirt unbuttoned like he had just rolled out of bed. What do you think you are doing here? He growled. I ignored him. I held up the papers. You are being used, I told Emma. He is taking money from the business. Your money. My money. You are too blinded to see it. Emma stepped back as if my words were needles. You have no proof, she whispered. I placed the documents gently on the floor in front of her. It is all here, I said softly. Take your time. But read it. Logan barked a laugh. Do not touch that, he ordered her. He is trying to manipulate you. Like always. I looked at Emma one last time. I did this for you, I said. Every sacrifice, every dollar. I did it to help you live your dream. And now that dream is turning into a nightmare. Her eyes glistened with confusion, fear, doubt. But Logan slammed the door before she could respond. The lock clicked, and I stood alone in the hallway. Again, I walked back to my truck, head heavy, heart heavier. But amidst the pain, one thing had become clear. This was no longer just about money. This was about saving my daughter from someone who wanted to destroy everything we built. I tightened my jaw. My hands stopped shaking. If Logan wanted a fight, he was going to get one. I would not let him take any more from me, and I would not let him ruin Emma's life. No matter how much she hated me for it now, I was still her father, and fathers do not give up. I wish I could tell you that I calmly accepted what they did to me, that I walked away. Let them enjoy the success. Let time heal the wound. But when someone takes advantage of your trust, twists your love, throws you away like garbage, there comes a moment when enough is enough. That moment came the morning after they kicked me out of my own investment. I sat at my kitchen table, staring at the contract I wasn't allowed to sign, listening to the silence of a house that once felt full. My hands shook as I typed a message. To a lawyer, a friend of a friend, a man I hoped I would never need. His name was Michael Reeves. Calm voice, firm handshake, the kind of guy who looks at the truth like a loaded weapon. George, he said, after I explained everything. You didn't just give her money. You formed a business. You have rights. And if they tried to cut you out after the fact, that's illegal. The word hung in the air. Illegal. I wasn't a greedy man. I never asked for more than what I gave. But the principle, the betrayal, it burned inside me. Michael leaned forward. We need proof. Every bank transfer, every message, every contract draft. Every piece of evidence that shows this business wouldn't exist without you. I nodded. I already knew. The truth was sitting in my desk drawer. I went home with a purpose. For the first time in months, I felt like I was doing something right for myself. Folders opened, files printed, emails organized, bank records stacked in perfect piles. I saved every text from Emma, every thank you, Dad, every photo of us signing lease papers, every receipt for equipment. I realized something. I wasn't just building a case. I was reliving the memories of how hard I tried and how little they valued me. Logan must have known something was happening, because the calls started, not to apologize, not to make things right, but to cover himself. Look, George, this is all Emma's doing, he said one night. voice shaking like someone cornered. She's been really unpredictable lately. I tried to tell her we should include you, but I laughed bitterly. Logan, I saw the contract. It was your handwriting. Silence. Then anger. You think you can just take down what we built? It's our business. Not yours. You're just the checkbook. That was him. The real him. No charm. No polite smile. Just a man who thought he could step over me and never look back. You used my daughter, I said quietly. And you let it happen, he snapped. Click. He hung up. I set my phone down and took a long breath. He was right about one thing. I did let it happen because I trusted my daughter, and that made this hurt in a way I didn't know was possible. The lawsuit moved faster than I expected. Michael filed an emergency order to freeze the business accounts while the investigation started. We wanted to stop Logan from moving any more money before he disappeared with it. 2 weeks later, a judge granted the freeze. The restaurant's credit cards were shut down. Payroll paused. Suppliers stopped deliveries. And Logan panicked. He stormed into my house the next morning without knocking. The door flew open and hit the wall. What did you do? He shouted like a man watching his empire collapse. You stole from me, I said. Calm. Firm. He wasn't used to that from me. You think you can run this place without me, he spat. That restaurant was my idea, it was Emma's dream, I said. You just saw a way to profit from it. That pushed him over the edge. His face twisted, and for a moment, I saw someone dangerous. Someone willing to destroy anything that got in his way. You ruined everything, he hissed. And now she's going to blame you. He left, slamming the door so hard the picture frames shook. I looked at the photo of Emma on the wall, her first day of culinary school, holding a knife and smiling. How did we get here? When Emma found out about the account freeze, she didn't yell. She didn't fight. She arrived at my house quietly, eyes red, shoulders trembling. Dad, she whispered. I didn't know he took you off the contract. He hid it from me. He said you changed your mind. My heart felt like it cracked in half. I wanted to tell her it was okay, that we could rewind time, that we could pretend none of this ever happened. But the truth was, we were in the middle of a war that she didn't see coming. Emma, he used you, I said, and I let him. But we can fix this. Together. She collapsed into my arms, sobbing like she was letting go of months of pressure. I'm so sorry, she cried. I thought I could handle everything. I thought he loved me. I held her tighter. Sometimes, admitting you're broken is the first step to healing. Logan didn't face the consequences like a man. He ran, packed his bags, emptied what little cash he could grab before the freeze hit, disappeared without even looking back at the woman he promised forever. No goodbye, no apology, just gone. Emma stood in the middle of their living room, furniture still arranged for a happy life, staring at the door he walked through. Her voice was barely audible. I chose him over you. I wiped her tears away. You chose love, I said. We all make mistakes for love. She nodded, but I could see the guilt eating her alive. And there, in that moment, with the storm finally crashing down, I realized what this fight was really about. Not money, not ownership, not contracts. It was about protecting my daughter from a man who never deserved her. But the battle wasn't over. The investigation had just begun, and there was one more twist waiting for us. One that would change everything we thought we knew about Logan and about the restaurant. Forever. Logan's disappearance didn't stop the wheels of justice from turning. The investigation continued, and the more they uncovered, the clearer the truth became. Every transfer, every receipt, every message proved one undeniable fact. This restaurant existed because of me. Weeks later, I sat in a courtroom, hands shaking slightly, as the judge read her decision. The court recognizes Mr. George Mitchell as a 50% co-owner of the establishment. His financial investment and documented involvement are legally binding. Full rights are restored. There it was, a victory. People congratulated me. Michael shook my hand. Even the judge gave me a small nod of respect, but all I could think about was Emma, sitting 2 seats away, wiping silent tears from her cheeks. After the ruling, she approached me slowly, like she wasn't sure she had the right to. "Dad," her voice broke. "I only wanted to prove I could stand on my own. I didn't want you to think I needed saving forever." I swallowed hard. How could I blame her? For wanting independence, I put a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You were supposed to stand on your own," I said. "But I was supposed to be there when you fell. That's what I forgot." She leaned into me, clutching my shirt like she did when she was little. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I'm sorry too," I answered. "I should have been your father first, not your business partner." Those words hurt to say, because they were true. I didn't celebrate that win, not the way people thought I would. The money, the ownership, none of it mattered in that moment. What mattered was the daughter crying in my arms. In the months that followed, we rebuilt the restaurant together. Not as a dream forced into a contract, but as a family learning to trust again. We hired new managers, reworked the brand, strengthened the foundation from every angle. Emma led the kitchen stronger and wiser than before, and me, I still supported her. But this time, we signed everything properly. Clear ownership, clear roles, clear understanding. Because love should never replace smart decisions. If you're listening to my story right now, maybe you've been where I was. Maybe you helped someone you love, and they forgot the hand that lifted them. Or maybe you're the one pushing away help, thinking it means weakness. Trust me, standing alone isn't strength. Knowing who stands with you, that's what really matters. So, wherever you are watching from, tell me in the comments. Have you ever given someone everything, only to be left with nothing? If you have, stay strong. Not every loss is final. Sometimes, it's just the beginning of something worth fighting for. If this story touched you, please take a moment to like this video and share it with someone who might need to hear it today. Your support helps more real stories reach more people, and it means the world to this channel. And if you want to follow along with more emotional, true-to-life journeys like mine, make sure to subscribe so you never miss the next chapter.